Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. This is Coffee with Katie. I have my Book Dragon mug from Fable Coffee, stoneware mug. Another pre-order that I had, I really love it. I'm also drinking tea today because I'm having kind of an issue with the allergies or, I don't know, the dry air because it's winter, but it's not feeling great up here. I'm not sick, it's just annoying. So some tea was nice. I am once again trying to film with my back camera, so I can't really see what's going on right now, but I'm trying to do that because the lighting is really bad right now because I'm filming a lot later than I usually do. So I wanted to give myself the best chances possible. I tried to really work on the frames, so hopefully everything looks okay. But if not, you know that I try. So today's video is going to be my most anticipated releases or just anticipated releases for 2024. We're a little behind on this because it is 2024 already. But I was kind of waiting for two authors to announce two books, and they have, so now I have those that I could go through. So let's go ahead and get started. We do have quite a few books to go through, so I might not stay on each of them very long, but we will see how this mess goes. I feel like you click on a video of mine and it's either really organized or just absolute chaotic energy, so probably chaotic energy this time around. Well, the first one we'll talk about is House of Flame and Shadow by Sarah J. Maas, which is book 3 in the Crescent City series. I'll be honest in saying that I haven't been the biggest fan of this series. It is kind of okay, like it's fun. Like when I'm listening to it, I think it's okay, but it's not my favorite. There's parts of it that are kind of slow / boring to me. I feel like the plot is very few and far between, but the cliffhanger I did not like in the second book, but I have to know now. So this comes out January 30th, so it comes out in just a couple of weeks, which is a little bit crazy. So it'll be here soon. There's not really much I could say about it, but I know if you've heard about Sarah J. Maas or the Crescent City series, you've heard about this, so I don't really need to get into it, but I am anticipating that, even though I don't really know how I feel about it completely. One that I'm interested in that actually just released this past Tuesday, and I did go ahead and grab it, was Sanctuary of the Shadow by Aurora Ashire. This is from Red Tower Books, so they're doing those like first edition special sprayed edges like they did for Fourth Wing for all of the books I think that are coming out in this, or at least most of them. This came out January 9th, and it's book 1 in Elemental Emergence. Some follow their destiny, others fall for it. And it talks about that there's a place that you can hide and disguise your abilities, and it talks about this place being of mystery and wonder, but for Harrow, it's a place to hide for those who slaughtered her entire clan, a haven where she can disguise both her abilities and who she really is. Until he arrives. He has no memory of who or what he is. He only knows that he's a monster with wings and powerful abilities that have never been seen before. But Harrow is drawn to him, and then there's some enemies against them, and they grow closer together. It sounds like there's some secrets revealed and things going on, and maybe this is the key to her revenge. It sounds interesting. I'm sure it'll be fun, even if it's not the best thing ever. This one also already released, but I haven't gotten a chance to pick it up yet, is The Atlas Complex by Olivia Blake. This is book 3 in the Atlas 6 series. I read the Atlas 6 and the Atlas Paradox. I strangely liked them, but couldn't really tell you why. It was like a very weird reading experience for me because I kind of liked it, but I also thought it was kind of slow and it was weird, but I keep wanting to read them. So obviously can't tell you much about this. The Atlas 6 is basically there are 6 people that are proposed to compete for positions in the Alexandrian library, like the secret society of that library. And it's like untold wonders, knowledge, all that stuff is promised to you, but only 5 of them can have it. I'm sure you've heard about it. So this one came out as well, and I will get to it when I can. Another one that already came out is A Fragile Enchantment by Alison Shaft. This is kind of pitched as what I've been told is like a historical Regency romance, but fantasy. So a fantasy historical romance, a fantasy Regency romance. And it says, a magical dressmaker commissioned for a royal wedding finds herself embroiled in scandal when a gossip columnist draws attention to her undeniable chemistry with the groom. The magic in her blood that lets her stitch emotions and memories into fabric is the same magic that will eventually kill her. Determined to spend what little time she has left guaranteeing a better life for her family, she jumps at the chance to design a wardrobe for the royal wedding in a neighborhood kingdom. It sounds like she starts having chemistry with the groom. I don't know, it sounds interesting and cute. The next one for January is the next book in the Wayward Children series. It's book 9, even though I have absolutely not caught up to the series yet. It is Mislaid in Parts Half Known, and I know nothing about it except that there's dinosaurs on the cover, and I feel like that's all I need to know because each of these books are their own portal world, and I will continue the series and catch up hopefully Yep. And then I think this is the last one for January, but the next one for January is The City of Stardust by Georgia Summers. And the cover of this, first off, is absolutely beautiful. I think this is going to be a fairy loot book, so I don't have to worry about picking it up, but it says, slip into a lush world of magic, stardust, and monsters in this spellbinding contemporary fantasy from a debut author. For centuries, the Everleys have seen their best and brightest disappear, taken as punishment for a crime no one remembers, for a purpose no one understands. Their tormentor, a woman named Penelope, never ages, never grows sick, and never forgives a debt. Violet Everly was a child when her mother left on a stormy night, determined to break the curse. When Marianne never returns, Violet has 10 years to find her mother or she will take her place. Violet is the last of the Everly line and the last to suffer, unless she can break the curse first. Her hunt leads her into a seductive magical underworld of power-hungry scholars, fickle gods, and monsters bent on revenge. And into the path of Penelope's quiet assistant, Alexander, who she knows cannot be trusted, and yet to whom she finds herself undeniably drawn. But this just sounds kind of fun. I like the idea of the underground world. That sounds cool. Okay, and that's for January, so now let's look at February. The first one for that would be A Tempest of Tea by Hafsa Fazel. This is really interesting. It sounds like it's a mixture between Peaky Blinders and Six of Crows. So I've never seen Peaky Blinders or whatever, but it's essentially a tea house that also moonlights as like a place for vampires to get blood. Yeah, so her prestigious tea room transforms into a legal bloodhouse by dark, catering to the vampires feared in the society. So she's obviously got this like Casbrecker gambling house kind of situation going on, but her establishment is threatened and she's fighting to take it back. So there's magic, there's vampires. It sounds really cool. I'm very excited. And try not to stay on these too long or we'd be here forever. Then on February 6th, we have Bride by Ali Hazelwood. This is very interesting to me because I recently read Ali Hazelwood last year and read The Love Hypothesis and Love on the Brain. And I really liked Love on the Brain. The Love Hypothesis was also fun, but like Love on the Brain, I really enjoyed, and it kind of surprised me that I liked those types of books. I'm gonna read Love Theoretically probably soon. But that's kind of like a contemporary STEM focused romance. This is a paranormal romance, and so I'm very intrigued at what Ali Hazelwood would do with this and how she'll write it. That's basically the only reason I'm reading it. I don't even care about what it's about. But it says a dangerous alliance between a vampire bride and an alpha werewolf becomes a love deep enough to sink your teeth into. And that's all I want to know, honestly, because I just feel like I just want to know how Ali Hazelwood writes a paranormal or fantasy type book. There you go. And then on February 20th, there we have Heartless Hunter by Kirsten Ciccarelli. This is book 1 in the Crimson Moth series, and it says her deadliest enemy or her greatest love. A steamy game of cat and mouse between witch and witch hunter played out against a backdrop of opulence, secrets, and bloody history. Again, that's kind of like, I'm trying to like really go into these types of things with just like the barest synopsis because I don't want to know tons of stuff. And also I can find myself getting bored if I'm reading a synopsis and it gives me a ton of details that don't make sense to me because I'm not reading the book. So I'm trying to just give like the catch, the hook line of the book. So it sounds interesting. We'll see how that goes for all of these. But I think one of the things that interests me the most about a lot of these books on here is that I've never read from any of the authors. So it could be a toss-up. Then, of course, I'm very excited for Sunbringer by Hannah Kaner. This is book 2 in the Fallen God series. The first one was God Killer, and this comes out February 15th, and it's the sequel. I'm very excited. I really loved God Killer. It was in my best books of 2023 video, and this is the sequel, and we don't have that much longer to wait, so I'm anxious to get to that. And then another sequel that I'm looking forward to is the Ashire King by Chelsea Abdullah. This is book 2 in the Sandsea trilogy, and this comes out February 20th as well. Book 1 was the Stardust Thief, and I actually really enjoyed it. I wasn't sure how I would feel about it, but I actually really liked it. And so this is kicking off the story from where we left off. And because I really liked the other one, I'm planning on continuing. So not much to say about it again because it's a sequel, but something to think about. Oh, one I didn't get to that was an anticipated release in January was Faybound by Sarah Al-Arifi, but I already got a fairy loot, like physically got the book and the fairy loot, so I'm not gonna, that was an anticipated release though. And then we have one that I think is on a lot of people's radars, and that is Fathomfolk by Eliza Chan. This comes out February 27th and is book 1 in the Drowned World series. So what this kind of sounds like is there's a city kind of like described as like New York. So the skyscrapers are there, but half of it is like submerged underwater, where the fathomfolk are, which is like tons of different sea creatures like sirens, kelpies, like just all of the kinds of things you can imagine, live on the water levels, and they are seen as like less than the people. And that's really all I know about it, but it sounds very interesting. And it says, from one of fantasy's most exciting new voices, Eliza Chan, comes a modern myth-inflected story of revolution and magic set against the glittering, semi-submerged city of Taniqua, perfect for fans of Jade City and the Bone Shard Daughter. This next one, I've never read anything by this author, but for some reason, this one is really interesting to me. So this book is The Tainted Cup by Robert Jackson Bennett. This one comes out on February 6th and is book 1 in the Shadow of the Leviathan series. It says, in Dertana's most opulent mansion, a high imperial officer lies dead, killed to all appearances, when a tree spontaneously erupted from his body. Even in this canton at the borders of the empire, where contagions abound and the blood of the Leviathans work strange magical changes, it's a death at once terrifying and impossible. And then the character is called to investigate this, and the little like tagline at the bottom says, featuring an unforgettable Holmes and Watson style pairing, a glorious labyrinthine plot, and a haunting and wholly original fantasy world, The Tainted Cup brilliantly reinvents the classic mystery tale. So it's a fantasy mystery, and it sounds amazing. So I'm very excited about this. He wrote several books, but one of them is the Foundry Side trilogy, which I've heard really good things about, and I think we have the first one because I got it for John to read, and I would like to read it at some point too, but The Tainted Cup just sounds really good, and so I'm very much looking forward to that one. And then this one's a little bit different than what I usually go for, but this next one is The Book of Doors by Gareth Brown. This comes out February 15th as well, and it says, some doors should never be opened. If you could open a door to anywhere, where would you go? In New York City, bookseller Cassie Andrews is living an unassuming life when she is given a gift by her favorite customer. It's a book, an unusual book, full of strange writing and mysterious drawings, and at the very front there is a handwritten message to Cassie, telling her that this is the Book of Doors and that any door is every door. What Cassie is about to discover is that the Book of Doors is a special book that bestows an extraordinary powers on whoever possesses it. And soon she and her brilliant friend Lizzie are exploring all that the Book of Doors can do, swept away from their quiet lives by the possibilities of traveling to anywhere they want. But of course, there's like a nameless evil force that works here, and things will come about, and some doors should never be opened. So it sounds mysterious and fun and interesting. And again, so many of these authors I've never read anything from, so I'm very curious. I think that's all for February. In March, we have What Monstrous Gods by Rosamund Hodge. I think this was on my anticipated releases last year, but then I got pushed to 2024, so I think it's gonna come out. It should be coming out. I'm curious about it. I have no idea really what it's about, but I think what caught my attention about it was that it says a rich and romantic new standalone fantasy loosely inspired by the classic Sleeping Beauty fairy tale. And honestly, I just needed it to be Sleeping Beauty-esque for it to hook me and for me to want to know what the book is about without reading anything else. So this has been on my radar for a little bit, and I'm excited if it's actually coming out. And on March 26th, we have A Governess's Guide to Passion and Peril by Amanda Collins. This is book 4 in the Ladies Most Scandalous series. I thought she was going to tap out at 3 books, so I'm pretty excited about this. I have not read the 3rd one yet, but I really enjoyed the first 2, and I'm actually trying to get to the 3rd one very soon, this month or next month, probably next month. But this, I don't really want to read what it's about because I feel like it's going to spoil something that I'm going to get in the 3rd book. But it says, perfect for fans of Evie Dunmore and Netflix Bridgerton. A delightful, witty historical romance in which 2 friends reunite and discover hidden feelings. So cute. I believe one of them is a governess, obviously, and then a childhood friend comes back into her life and they develop feelings. So cute. I've really enjoyed her book so far, so I'm looking forward to this one as well. So many of these come out in July. Good grief. And then we get to April, and the first one on my anticipated release for April would definitely be this book, Rain by Cora Carmack. However, she has been working on this book for a while. She ran into a lot of health issues. This has been on my anticipated releases for many, many years, or at least a couple years. And so I'm not actually sure if it's coming out this year, but it does have a publishing date of April 2024. We will eventually get to that point and see if that's actually happening. I don't believe it is, but if it is, I will freak out because Rain is book 3 of the Stormheart series, and it's supposed to be a trilogy. I've loved the first 2 books, and I will be sad if it doesn't continue, but she's saying it will happen. It just takes some time, so we got to give her the space to do that. The next one would be Master of the Fallen by Justin T. Call, or I guess Justin Call is his name now, but This is book 3 in the Silent God series. It's following Enev, who is slowly becoming a villain. Like, it's a villain origin story, so he's slowly going to become like the Dark Lord kind of a situation. And it's a good series. It can be kind of slow at times. They're really long books, but I've really enjoyed them so far. So I'm really hoping that this does in fact come out in April, on April 11th, because I think it was supposed to come out last year and got pushed back. Things happen. It is slated for April of this year, and it's just going to be obviously continuing the story of his slow descent into his Dark Lordness. I'm really curious about it. It's been pretty fun so far, and I'm looking forward to continuing. And then on April 23rd, we have Dragon Rider by Taran Matharu. And I've never read anything from this author, but I was very excited when I saw that this book was coming out, and I found it as in our new release that was coming. This is book 1 of the Soulbound saga, and it's about dragons. Dragons. We all know how I feel about that. And it says this is his debut adult fantasy series, and it introduces an immersive story written in the tradition of the viral cultivation genre. Discover a rich world of magic warriors and dragons in which a fearless orphan and an ambitious handmaiden flee from the empire that would imprison them with a dream to return to their homelands and a determination that's unbreakable. Can an orphan captive learn the secrets of the dragon riders to stand up and avenge his people? Hunted at every turn, he must learn to cultivate magic and become a soulbound warrior if he has any chance of finding safety, seizing his destiny, and seeking his revenge. It's Dragon Riders! I'm very excited about that. Oh, and on April 2nd, Disquiet Gods by Christopher Rocchio is coming out, which is book 6 in the Sun Eater series. I have quite a bit to get through. I have to get through the 3rd one, the 4th one, and the 5th one before I could even read this, but I don't care because I've really enjoyed the first 2, so that one's coming out. The first one, Empire Silence, is pitched as, it's a sci-fi series, or a space opera rather, and it's pitched as, what if Anakin becoming Darth Vader was the right choice? Yes. And then I have this one on my anticipated releases, but it's kind of hesitantly, and it is The Reappearance of Rachel Price by Holly Jackson. We all know how I feel about this. I really liked A Good Girl's Guide to Murder, that series, but 5 Survive was horrid to me. I hated it. So this is a new book from her. I'm hoping that I really enjoy it because I'm, again, trying to get into more mystery thriller type books, and I did really like Good Girl's Guide to Murder, so I'm hoping that I like this one. But this comes out April 2nd, and it says this comes a new true crime fueled mystery thriller about a girl determined to uncover the shocking truth about her missing mother while filming a documentary on an unsolved case. And it says this comes a mind-blowing masterpiece about one girl's search for the truth and the terror in finding out who your family really is. So I hope I like it. I have hesitations. Then on April 25th, this sounds so interesting. It is How to Become the Dark Lord and Die Trying by Django Wexler. And this, just look at the cover. I think it sounds like it's gonna be kind of funny, and I'm pretty excited about it. And it says Groundhog Day meets Guardians of the Galaxy in Django Wexler's laugh out loud fantasy tale about a young woman who, tired of defending humanity from the Dark Lord, decides to become the Dark Lord herself. And that just sounds so good and like something I will really have fun with. So I'm actually really excited about that one. And then on April 23rd, Song of the Six Realms by Judy Eileen is coming out. This was the author of, A Magic Steeped in Poison, that like magical tea duology. I haven't finished the duology, but this one sounds like it's like about song magic, which sounds really interesting. Weaves a dreamy gothic romance worthy of the heavens in Song of the Six Realms. And honestly, I don't really want to know much going into it, but I like the picture it's painting for me, and that sounds pretty interesting. And I did like A Magic Steeped in Poison, even though I need to finish A Venom Dark and Sweet and kind of see how I feel about the author. But it sounds intriguing. I would like to know. Told you, I'm just trying to like fly through these as fast as possible. Okay, I apologize. The lighting is fading so fast. So for May, The Last Murder at the End of the World by Stuart Turton. I'm very excited about that. It comes out May 21st. I really loved The 7.5 Deaths of Evelyn Hardcastle. I'm planning on reading The Devil in the Dark Water this year, and will potentially read this year as well. As I've said before recently, I'm trying to get into more mystery thrillers, and I really did love the first book I read from him. I'm not sure anything will be able to top that, but I do want to keep reading some of his books, so I think this one would be a good option. And it says, solve the murder to save what's left of the world. Outside the island, there is a world destroyed by a fog that swept the planet, killing everyone it touched. On the island, it is idyllic. 120 villagers and 3 scientists living in peaceful harmony. The villagers are content to fish, farm, and feast, to obey their nightly curfew, to do what they've been told by the scientist. Until, to the horror of the islanders, one of their beloved scientists is found brutally stabbed to death. And they learn that the murder has triggered a lowering of the security system around the island, which is the only thing that was keeping the fog at bay. If the murder isn't solved within 92 hours, the fog will smother the island and everyone on it. He's got some cool premises, let me tell you. And then so I have like just a bunch of, like a ton of these on my list, right, that could be like super anticipated releases or just like, I don't know. This is kind of like an I don't know. So I haven't really heard much about it, but the Fireborn Blade by Charlotte Bond. The reason I'm curious about this is because it has a dragon on the cover. I'm not even kidding you. This comes out May 28th, and it says, kill the dragon, find the blade, reclaim your honor. It's that or end up like countless knights before her as a puddle of gore and molten armor. Madalai is a knight. There aren't many women in her line of work, and it often feels like the sneering and contempt from her peers is harder to stomach than the actual dragon slaying. But she's a knight and made of sterner stuff. A minor infraction forces her to redeem her honor in the most dramatic way possible. She must retrieve the fabled Fireborn Blade from its keeper, legendary dragon, the White Lady, or die trying. This tale contains a rich history of dragons, ill-fated knights, scheming squires, and sapphic love, with deception and double crosses that will keep you guessing right up to its dramatic conclusion. Ultimately, the Fireborn Blade is about the roles we refuse to accept and of the place we made for ourselves in the world. This sounds good. Like, it sounds good, but I just don't know. I've never read anything from this author. I don't really know where it's gonna go, but I don't like that we're trying to kill the dragons. But I'm very interested in this story, and I love that it has dragons, so I will give it a shot at some point. And then one that I'm really, really interested in is 5 Broken Blades by Maya Corland. And this, first off, the edition, for the first edition, like first print run, whatever, is beautiful. It's also from Red Tower Books, which I don't think I knew that at the time, but it sounds pretty good. Only one can take the crown. Like, it just sounds really interesting. The edition is beautiful, so I feel like I have to read it and see what the heck it's about. It says, it's the season for treason. The 5 most dangerous liars in the land have been mysteriously summoned to work together for a single objective, to kill the God King June. He has it coming. Under his merciless immortal hand, the nobles flourish while the poor and innocent are imprisoned, ruined, or sold. And now each of the 5 blades will come for him. Each has tasted bitterness, from the hired hitman seeking atonement, a lovely assassin who seeks freedom, or even the prince banished for his cruel crimes. None can resist the sweet, icy lure of vengeance. They can agree on murder, they can agree on treachery, but for these 5 killers, each versed in deception, lies, and betrayal, it's not enough to forge an alliance. To survive, they'll have to find a way to trust each other, but only one can take the crown. Let the best liar win. You can't tell me that doesn't sound good. My gosh, I'm very excited about that one. And I think I said, but it comes out May 21st. Then we do have a couple for June. One is also from Red Tower Books. What can I say? And it's called Bloodguard by CC Robson, and I love the cover. It's just really aesthetically pleasing. And this is book 1 in the Old Earth, I'm assuming is what it is, but it's ERTH, so I don't know. And it says, truth is an illusion. 100 years, tens of thousands of gladiators, and today only one will rise. Everything in the kingdom of Arrow is a lie. And it sounds like one of the characters is volunteering to fight in a gladiator arena so he can get money to save his dying sister. But they took everything from him, his freedom, his hope, his humanity. He's just scarred, angry, hardened person. And he meets an elven royal who is everything he despises, but she offers him the chance to win a coveted title, Bloodguard, and his freedom. But in a kingdom built on secrets and lies, hope doesn't come cheap, nor will his ultimate revenge. So that sounds pretty good, not gonna lie, not gonna lie. And then I've never heard of this author or this series, but Foul Days by Geneva Demonova. First off, the cover looks crazy, but it's A Witch's Compendium of Monsters, Volume 1, the first book in this series. And it says, The Witcher meets Naomi Novik in this fast-paced fantasy rooted in Slavic folklore from an assured new voice in the genre. A witch in the walled city of Shinograd, Kosara has plenty of practice taming Ruskalas, fighting Kikamoras, and brewing lycanthropy repellent. There's only one monster she can't defeat, her ex, known as the Tsar of Monsters. She's defied him one too many times, and now he's hunting her. Yeah, I don't know, but that sounds pretty good. Don't have a lot of thoughts about any of these, except that they sound kind of good, and I'm curious, you know? And then for July, we have quite a few of books coming out in July. The first one is The Darkness Within Us by Trisha Levenseller. This is the Shadows Between Us book 2, but I believe it follows the main character in book 1. It follows her sister. This comes out July 9th, and I don't really want to know anything about it going into it, but I just know that it's kind of set in the same world. And then India Holton has a new book called The Ornithologist's Field Guide to Love, and this is Love's Academic book 1. And from what I know about this, it's about rare magical birds and a historical fantasy rom-com. And it says reminiscent of Indiana Jones, but with manners, tea, and helicopter parasols. And that just sounds so fun. Rival ornithologists hunt through England for a rare magical bird. I don't need to know anything else. That sounds great. Then we have one that is also dragons, and I'm very excited, is The Sky on Fire by Jen Lyons. Again, never read anything from this author, don't really know much about it. So this new standalone fantasy is Dragon Riders of Pern for a modern audience. Enter a world ruled by dragons. Anarod lives only for survival, preferring to thrive in the jungles of the deep with the Titan Drake she keeps by her side. When an adventuring party saves her from capture by the local warlord, she's eager to return to her solitary life, but this is no ordinary rescue. Her past caught up with her, and these cunning misfits intend to spirit her away to the Cloud Cities, where they need her to help steal from a dragon's horde. Fans of Naomi Novik's Temeraire series and Rebecca Yarros' The Fourth Wing will enjoy this page-turning adventure with conniving dragons, high-stakes intrigue, a daring heist, and a little bit of heat. Woo! A heist of a dragon's horde. Say less. Then we have a book that I just stumbled across recently on Orbit's Instagram page, and that is Between Dragons and Their Wrath by Devin Madsen. This is the Shattered Kingdom trilogy, book 1. Conquest long ago split the Old Kingdom into city-states, but there are those who seek to reunite the shattered realm by force if necessary. A glassblower apprentice becomes a false tribute bride as part of a desperate political plot, and in the enemy's court, she's perfectly placed to sabotage them, but her heart had other plans. Nali is laundress to an eccentric alchemist, a job that has left her strange new powers and a price on her head, and when she joins the city's underworld, she'll have to choose between keeping her magic secret and changing the world. And in the desolate Shield Mountains, sharpshooting dragon rider Ashadi protects the cities from the monsters of the sands beyond, but when an impossible shot pierces his dragon's glass scales, he becomes the hunted one. As war sweeps across the land, these three must survive political enemies, long-buried secrets, and monsters both within and without. Sounds very good. And then we have Spellshot by Sarah Beth Durst, and this just sounds like a kind of cozy fantasy situation. A cottagecore cozy fantasy following a woman's unexpected journey through the low-stakes market of illegal spell selling and the high-risk business of starting over. All I need to know. But it sounds cute and cozy. And then, to be honest, this kind of caught my attention and it kind of shocked me because it's not a book that I would usually go for, but Medievally Blonde by Kate Jacobs caught my attention and I want to read it, which is really funny. This comes out July 18th. I'm sorry, I haven't been saying the dates, but this is the July section. It says, the dark age just got blonder. Our princess has been royally jilted by her betrothed, a totally dashing prince, because she's like more interested in her looks and courtly gossip than being the queen his people need. Plus, rumor has it that he has his eye on another girl with a bit more of a dowry. As if. This is so ridiculous. The princess decides she'll show him just how valuable she can be. She'll swap gowns for armor and enroll alongside him at a prestigious military academy, shaping the future rulers of the world. However, once there, the princess discovers a plot that will seriously impact both their kingdoms. Can she save her people from a disastrous fate, win back the dreamy prince, and become queen no one expects her to be? Tropes are subverting gender norms, forbidden love, strong female heroine, forced proximity, found family, love is right in front of you the whole time. This sounds kind of like Legally Blonde, but it's medieval and she like enrolls in a military academy. I don't know. I just think it's going to be funny and I'm kind of excited about it, very strangely. And then I'm like, this kind of like caught me off guard and I forgot it was coming out. I forgot it existed and I'm really excited about it, is Beneath These Cursed Stars by Lexi Ryan. This, I think, is a standalone book, but it's set in the same world as These Hollow Vows. And it's following Jocelyn, who I think was her little sister in the first one. And she's got a side shave first off. So excited. From Lexi Ryan comes a romantic fantasy in which a human princess armed with death's kiss and a phase shifter on the run become unlikely allies when a mission to assassinate an evil king collides with a fatal prophecy. And Princess Jocelyn has a secret. Armed with an enchanted ring that gives her death's kiss, Jas has been sneaking away from the palace at night to assassinate her enemies. And I'm skipping ahead, but the future of the human and the Fey realms hangs in the balance as fate intertwine. Between perilous tasks, grim secrets, and forbidden romances, Jessalyn and Felicity must find that perhaps their stars are the most cursed of all. I don't know. It sounds really good. I enjoyed that duology when I read it, and I'm very curious to go back and follow different characters. And this girl sounds awesome, so I'm very excited. And then we have August, and one of the ones I'm super looking forward to is Apprentice to the Villain by Hannah Nicole Maher. This comes out August 8th. I loved Assistant to the Villain. I know that was a kind of a hot take for some people. I don't know why, but I loved it. Can't wait. Very excited for the sequel. The story continues. And it's Apprentice to the Villain. Oh man. If you've read the first book or saw my thoughts on the first book, you know. But it's like a really funny, it's a little dark, but not very dark. But it's just like a really funny villain story. It's like, doesn't take itself seriously. It's kind of funny. There's like mystery elements, whatever. There's this girl that's working for the villain and she starting to fall for him and he kind of has a soft spot for her. But it's not a dark romance. It's not anything spicy, but it is so cute and funny. I really enjoyed it. Then we have Wisteria, which is the book 3 in the Belladonna series. I think this is the last book in the series. It comes out August 20th. Was kind of disappointed at how Foxglove ended. I thought it was going to kind of go a different way, but the more I've had time to like stew on it and like think on it, I think it's going to be a good story and really good and really interesting and fun, because Blythe and this other and Fate are kind of, I think, going to have their own story. So I think it's going to be different, but it's going to be good. So I'm getting more excited about it and I am looking forward to reading it. And then we have Ghost Smith by Nikki Palpretto. This is book 2 in the House of the Dead series. I did like Bonesmith. It took me a little bit to get into it, but the magic system is very interesting. The characters are really cool. The enemies to allies trope was interesting. The twists were kind of predictable, but I'm curious to see how this is going to come together and what it means for the magic moving forward. So this comes out August 13th, and I'm very much looking forward to it. And then T. Kingfisher has a new book coming out called A Sorceress Comes to Call. This comes out August 20th as well. And it says, A Sorceress Comes to Call, a dark retelling of the Brothers Grimm Goose Girl, rife with secrets, murder, and forbidden magic. She does a lot of like kind of twisting of fairy tales, so I'm curious what she's going to do with this story, but it sounds good. I really want to read more of her works. I really enjoyed Nettle and Bone a lot, and I didn't love Thornhedge, but I just want to keep reading her books to see which ones work for me and which ones don't. But that one I'm pretty excited about. I think it's going to be pretty good. And then for September, Carrie Maniscalco announced that the next book in her, well, it's not a series, but the next book within the Kingdom of the Wicked world, Throne of Secrets, is coming out on September 24th. Cannot wait. This one is following, Greed? Gluttony. I think this one is following Gluttony. So she's starting to write from all the perspectives of the different princes. We have, this one here was Throne of the Fallen, which was following Envy, and I believe Gluttony is next. And I am really excited about it. I was kind of disappointed that it wasn't Pride's story or Sloth, but I like that she's writing it for all the different brothers' perspectives and also kind of weaving a story. I think Pride will be the last one, but Gluttony is going to be interesting. We didn't get a whole lot of him. We got some. Sloth we got the least amount of, but I'm curious to read from another one of the Princes of Hell's perspective, so this is going to be really fun. There's like no synopsis. I don't really care. I'm going to read it, you know? And we have October, and Stephanie Garber announced her new book. It was 100% not what I was expecting. It was bittersweet. I was excited and disappointed. It was a lot of emotions. But she announced that she's coming out with a holiday novella called Spectacular, but it's set in the Caraval universe, and like the Caraval series, not just the Caraval universe like Once Upon a Broken Heart. It is Caraval. So I'm pumped because I love Caraval. It's one of my favorite series of all time. And this is, even when I click it on Goodreads, it says Caraval 3.5. So it's set after the events of Finale. And it even talks about Empress Scarlet inviting you to this, but it is a holiday novella. So it's kind of weird because it's going to be short, but it's going to be magical and Caraval-y, and I'm pretty excited about it. It's going to be illustrated, which is really cool. And it says, welcome back to the mysteriously enchanting world of Caraval. Return to the legendary magic and the whimsical wonder with this beautiful illustrated holiday novella. Snowflakes are falling, invitations are arriving, and holiday magic is swirling in the capital city of the Meridian Empire. It's Great Holiday Eve. Scarlet Dragna is planning a spectacular holiday celebration for the city. Donatella is searching for the perfect gift. Julian is looking ridiculously handsome in green, and Legend, well, Sadly, Legend is not fond of the great holiday, and Tella is hoping for the perfect gift will change his mind. Oh, it just sounds really cute, and it's like going back to the characters I love, so that's why I'm excited. So that comes out October 22nd. And then we have Ember Claw by L.R. Lamb. And this is book 2 in the Dragon Scales trilogy. I read Dragonfall and I liked it, but I'm just kind of, it was middle of the road for me, right? But it had dragons in it, which I really liked, and I liked the dragon character, but I didn't really know exactly how the story's gonna go. The ending was intense, has some stuff that needs to be wrapped up, so I'm excited to see what book 2 holds. Curious to see what's gonna play out on that. And then we don't have a ton of information on this, but in theory, the Bloodsworn Saga, the 3rd book of the Bloodsworn Saga, is coming out on October 24th is what it says on Goodreads, but we don't have a cover or anything super definite yet, but that should be coming out. There's several on here that have no covers, no solid dates, so I'm not going to go over them right now. I am going to touch on a couple that I'm looking forward to. One of them is Thirstwood by Ellie Blake. It was potentially coming out last year, and I really enjoyed Frostblood by Ellie Blake, and I'm going to continue that trilogy, but that's all the information we kind of have on it, but I'm curious because I did really enjoy Frostblood, what else she will come out with. But yeah, there's a lot on here that are just like, when are they coming out? Who knows? Like, Untitled Monsters 3 by Vanessa Lynn. Just so many. So I'm not going to touch on those because we don't know anything about them really, but except titles maybe. There is one that I'm curious about. It says it's coming out October 29th, but we don't have a cover or anything, and that is for She Is Wrath by Emily Barga. And it says a sizzling Pakistani romantic fantasy retelling of the Count of Monte Cristo, where one girl seeks revenge through the use of forbidden magic against the boy she once loved and those who betrayed her, betrayed by the boy she loved and framed for a crime she didn't commit. So I feel like that's kind of what you need to know, is that it's a Count of Monte Cristo retelling, but that sounds pretty good, and I'm curious about it. We'll see if it comes out in October. But for the rest of these, I don't really know when they're coming, so I'm not gonna sit here and act like I do. But for what we know now, those are my anticipated releases for 2024. We'll see how it goes. There's always other books that come out or things that get on my radar later in the year that I didn't anticipate, and then I'm like, oh, look at this, I love it, I'm anticipating it, and then it wasn't in this video. But that's why we all continue to look for and get books, and things come out and things surprise us, and yeah. But these videos are fun to film, to just kind of get a snapshot and be excited about all of the books that are coming out this year. But that's everything for today. Please comment down below and let me know what your most anticipated book of the year is, or books, especially if I didn't mention them. But for now, that is it for today's video. Please like this video if you liked it, subscribe if you want to, and I will see you next time. Stay safe and caffeinated. Bye.